A carjacking leads to a chase and officer-involved shooting in Thurston County. We just heard from authorities this afternoon. We begin with a live report out of Tenino.
This is just outrageous. Children's life should not be taken by other children.
Students leave their books behind and take to the streets to protest gun violence after one student was killed at a Seattle high school.
We do have some very strong gun laws, but obviously they're not enough.
The message from students and city leaders tonight.
Wish somebody would just tell me this is a bad dream.
A family in mourning. 4 students are dead at the University of Idaho, one of them with ties to Western Washington.
Pediatric hospitals are at their limit.
And right now our ERs are failing because we are at such high capacity.
The virus overwhelming emergency rooms at our children's hospitals.
New at 4, one suspect is dead, another is injured after a shootout with police in Thurston County. It happened after a carjacking and another shooting nearby. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jessica Janner Castro.
I'm Steve Solis. A bystander also injured. The carjacking and shooting happened in Thurston County, south of Olympia. The Washington State Patrol says those suspects carjacked someone near I-5 in Grand Mound and took off on Old Highway 99 towards Tenino. A big portion of that highway still closed right now as police investigate. King 5's Drew Mickelson joins us live near that scene with how things played out. Drew.
Well, Steve and Jessica, the roads are going to be closed down here in Thurston County for a few more hours after a wild midday crime spree. This apparently started down in Oregon. But the chase and the violence happened a couple miles down the road here, just off Old Highway 99, just outside of Tenino. It was a little before noon, and that's when law enforcement in Lewis County spotted a vehicle that was wanted out of Oregon, and they followed the car here to Thurston County, and that's when things got violent. We spoke with a man who says he watched 2 guys get out of a vehicle and shoot a woman whose car they were trying to steal, but for whatever reason, after shooting the woman, they decided to come and steal the man's pickup. He did not put up a fight. Police chased that pickup for about 5 miles, and police said, quote, multiple officers from multiple agencies exchanged gunfire with those 2 suspects, killing one and wounding the other. Folks who live along Old Highway 99 heard the end of the chase.
A little scary, yeah, for sure. Yeah, when you hear gunshots that close and you know there's cops involved, yeah, it was adrenaline rush for sure.
And to make things worse, yeah, Tom, can we get a shot here? We were just going to say that there was some insult to injury here, but we've got some great news. That dog was in the truck when it was stolen. And that's Brutus, sir? Brutus is back. Give us a thumbs up. That's so good. Well, that's some good news to report. And his brother was the man whose truck was stolen. The truck has suffered some damage, but his brother is okay, and Brutus is good. Thank you so much for your time. Well, that's a little happy surprise ending to our story here in Thurston County. As we said, the roads will remain closed while the investigation continues. Live in Thurston County, Drew Mickelson, King 5 News.
Drew, thank you for that. 2 Federal Way police officers are on administrative leave following a shootout at an apartment. One man was killed after shooting his sister, then firing at officers. Those officers returned fire, and the man died there at the scene. The suspect's sister was taken to the hospital with serious injuries.
Hundreds of Seattle high school students walked out of class today with a focus on gun safety. This comes after last week's deadly shooting at Ingram High School.
We have team coverage for you tonight. We want to start with King 5's Brady Wakayama live from Ingram High School. Brady, you spoke with students who took part in today's walkout.
Yeah, that's right, Steve. Yeah, today was actually the first day Ingram High School students returned to the class after last week's deadly shooting. But those students, at least a lot of them, didn't stay in class for too long, maybe about an hour or so before they headed to City Hall to voice some of their concerns. Hundreds of Ingram students making their way from the high school to the bus stop on the corner of Aurora and 130th, traveling to City Hall, where they met other students from throughout the district. The organizers of Monday's walkout, Seattle Student Union and Ingram for Gun Safety, say they have several demands. One is more mental health aid, suggesting 1 therapist per every 200 students. Secondly, requiring a dialectical behavior therapy class to help students work through their emotions. Thirdly, more security. And lastly, students want the district to amplify outreach programs that help students succeed in school and beyond.
We want change in our school district, and it's not okay for us to be going to school scared.
And Ingram wasn't the only school taking part in Monday's walkout. Several other high schools also attended, including Ballard, Nathan Hale, Garfield, and Roosevelt, to name a few. And Seattle Public School officials do say they had additional counselors, social workers, and security at Ingram High School today. For now, live in Seattle, Brady Wakayama, King 5 News.
Brady, thank you. We're going to hear from you again at King 5 News at 5. Team coverage continues now with King 5's Natalie Swaby. Now at City Hall. And Natalie, you heard from a shooting survivor who took part in today's walkout.
That's right. That shooting survivor was right here along with students from a number of schools around the city. Out here in front of City Hall, you can see some of their signs they left behind along with the words "Gun Control Now." That's part of the message that students came here today to deliver.
End gun violence!
For a short time, Seattle's downtown streets became the place where students led a protest.
We're protesting to end gun violence after the kid got shot in Ingram High School.
Then to find out that the kid died, it was terrible.
And you don't think it could happen to you, but then you hear the news and you're shocked.
Enough is enough!
Students, some who never met the victim and others who went to school with him every day, all came together here after last week's deadly shooting that happened inside Ingram High, causing the campus to lock down.
After securing the room the best we could, we started saying our goodbyes.
Recounting those details was part of the demonstration at City Hall's doorstep, and it drew a crowd that covered nearly every corner.
A bunch of schools are here. I'm very happy to see all of these people here today. It makes my heart full.
17-year-old Maria Robinson is here because of the gun violence that nearly cost her life.
I never leave my house. I'm known as like the girl who stays in with her family. The one night I decided to leave, I was shot in my right hip.
And she says she wanted to be at the protest today to send the message that she wants change. Now, that's what students talked about here, having better security, and they're pushing city and state leaders to work for better laws, they say. I'll tell you more about that and how that message was received tonight at 5 o'clock. But for now, live in Seattle, Natalie Swaby, King 5 News.
Okay, we'll see you then. Thank you, Natalie. And Seattle Public Schools released a statement following today's walkout saying it welcomes students' voices. It reads in part, quote, "It is fully understandable that students, families, and staff are deeply concerned about safety, and we recognize the increased fear and anxiety as a result of the tragic, senseless circumstance at Ingram High School last Tuesday." Within the last 30 minutes, we've confirmed charges have been filed against the two suspects involved in the shooting at Ingram. The 14-year-old alleged shooter is charged with premeditated first-degree murder, among other charges. A 15-year-old suspect is facing second-degree unlawful possession of a firearm, among some other charges. Both are not being charged as adults at this time.
New at 4, 4 students at the University of Idaho have been killed near campus, all in a suspected homicide. One of the students is from Western Washington. Moscow police say all 4 students were found dead inside of a home just yesterday, right off of campus. For reference, the University of Idaho is right here. It's right near Pullman. Now, zooming into Western Washington, now you can see that Conway is located south of Bellingham and Mount Vernon. And King 5's Eric Olkinson joins us now from Conway, where he spoke with people who considered that young man family. Eric.
That's right. Ethan Chapin, his brother and sister all grew up here together. They all went to school here together, and eventually they all enrolled at the University of Idaho together. 3 inseparable siblings, now torn apart.
Ethan Chapin was a triplet. He and his siblings all recently celebrated their 20th birthdays. They all attended the Conway School before moving on to Mount Vernon High, where Ethan played on the basketball team. Ethan and his brother were members of the same fraternity in Idaho.
I know I didn't sleep a lot last night. I'm just thinking of them. We had some good times together.
Ethan grew up next to neighbor Dave Hayden and his wife, who treated the kids like grandchildren. They'd come to the house and eat fudgesicles out of the freezer. They shared these photos from Ethan's mom's Instagram page, this one taken just a few weeks ago at Parents' Weekend. Dave recalls Ethan as a smart, athletic, and always respectful young man. He says all three were great kids, and having one of them gone is inconceivable.
I remember last night I woke up several times and I think, gee, I wish somebody would just tell me this is a bad dream. But unfortunately, it's not a bad dream. It's a reality.
Still no word as to a possible motive for the shootings, no word as to a possible suspect. However, Idaho police do say that there is no threat to the public. In Conway, Eric Wilkinson, King 5 News.
Right now, police are still searching for the person who shot a 9-year-old boy in a suspected road rage incident. It happened Friday afternoon in Renton near Highway 167 and Grady Way. Investigators say people in a blue Ford Mustang and a black Dodge Durango got into it at an intersection. Police say the driver of the Durango got out of their car and approached the blue Mustang. Someone in the Mustang fired and ended up hitting that 9-year-old who was in the other car.
Does seem like we see more and more of these, and I would imagine for any parent this is the worst possible outcome.
The driver of the Mustang took off. Investigators say the boy, 9-year-old Isaiah, was shot twice.
Tonight, the 9-year-old is still in the ICU, but is starting to improve. In an exclusive interview with King 5, he sat down with Isaiah's friends and family, and they describe him as a positive, happy, strong boy with a love for football.
He's a champion, and he's going to make it through.
He's strong, and he can fight through anything, and he can win every single football game.
Isaiah's parents say that he is communicating through a whiteboard and is able to hold a football, but he's also asking when he'll be able to leave the hospital. Right now, a stage 1 burn ban is in effect for Greater Pierce and Snohomish counties. That means no burning, allowed in wood-burning fireplaces or fireplace inserts. There's no outdoor fires that are allowed either, and there's no word yet on when that ban may end.
Okay, let's bring in meteorologist Adam Claybon to explain why that ban is in effect.
So we have this big area of high pressure that's setting up here across the western United States, and it's more overhead for us too, which is creating more of this offshore flow. Of course, we talk more about this during the summertime when it comes to hot days and also cooler days when we have more of the onshore flow. Well, when we have that too, is we have that starting to help create more of that offshore flow, and it also helps to create what we call inversions at times as we get some warmer air in the middle parts of the atmosphere to help trap some of the not quite as warm air here closer to the surface, and really helps to keep the air more stagnant. Here's a look at the current air conditions. Yeah, looking pretty good, but by tomorrow we do expect that to start to become a bit poorer. We'll get more into the details of that and show you how things will be shaping up for the rest of the week coming up.
Okay, thank you, Adam. Still ahead on King 5, pediatric hospitals are overwhelmed tonight.
Why a surge in RSV cases may mean a longer wait time next time you visit. Democrats secure control of the U.S. Senate. Now all eyes are on the House. The latest on the balance of power tonight.
New Alaska Airlines pilots are training virtually. Why this new method is filling some hiring gaps in the cockpit.